So welcome everybody to Multidimensional Healing Summer Solstice Celebration. And it indeed a day to celebrate the sun, celebrate the light over darkness. And darkness to me is just an absence of light. And so this on the longest day of the year, we invite you in this group field. If you're just new and listening to this work through this replay, welcome, welcome, welcome. No, you're automatically included in the group field. Asking everybody to drop down into their grounding cords. Beautiful. And your grounding cord is at the root, at the base of your tailbone and your root chakra. And just imagine that it stretches down to the very center of the earth, and follow that grounding cord and breathe down into the earth and connect to this crystalline ball, the heart of Gaia, like you are connecting an umbilical cord to mother or a plug to a light socket. And then as earth, breathe that liquid nutrition, that aliveness up into you. Do that for just a couple of breaths. You don't have to be overly long or deep, but just feeling yourself connect to that grounding cord that you have, feeling it connect to earth, and feeling that aliveness, that presence of Gaia, and breathing that back into you. For some of you, I'm creating a new high frequency grounding cord. When we come into the planet, our grounding cords are tuned to the very moment we enter the planet. And so now I'm just updating them, kind of like getting a new update on your app. And it's attuned to the highest frequencies coming into the planet today. So if you feel a deeper connection, deeper grounding, it's like your software and hardware just got a little bit of an upgrade. There you go. And just continuing breathing down into earth. Feel that energy as you breathe back up. Go all the way up your spine and exit your crown chakra. Those of you with power lines, feel that deep connection to the center of the universe, your highest self, and exhaling down in kind of like a circle, circular breathing, flowing, grounded, anchored, rooted, like you're buried up to your waist in a beautiful summer field with wildflowers and songbirds singing in a light breeze, and the sun with bright blue skies and wispy clouds. Maybe there's a stream trickling nearby. I just want you to get the sense of how grounded you are. For a lot of people, staying grounded is very hard because in your lower chakras, that's where all your stuff is. And by stuff, I mean your fears, your survival fears, your pain, your hurt, your abandonment, the trauma that you've experienced, not just in this life. Multidimensional healing works in all different aspects of your dimensionality. And by vortex healing standards, that means it works in your genetics, your ancestral, your intergenerational history, the stories and memories of your ancestors, and also your incarnational history, your past lives and the memories and stories that have an energetic vibration that impacts you today. And they're all intersected with divine blueprints and divine intercession that helps them play out as your reality of the you that you think you are, until we start pulling apart these identifications and these positions and these beliefs and say, I'm not really that. I am a divine being having a human experience. Now, we're taking a little extra time grounding for some reason. Just keep breathing down into the earth and as earth. Oh, some of you with new grounding cords, they just need to integrate a little bit. Okay, beautiful. Oh, so you're getting Some of you are getting not just a new power line, or not just a new grounding cord, a new power line, which the sun, like the heat of the sun, is upgrading it. That's why we're taking a little longer to enter. There we go. I don't know if you just felt your spine get a little heat in it, or maybe some light coming in. It's like your grounding cord just got upgraded. And when we have a grounding cord upgrade, it just allows you to connect again. Connection, so very important for being a human on this planet. Look around, there's a lot of conflict, a lot of drama, a lot of division, a lot of disconnect. And so the more grounded you are, the more present you are, the more you're able to surf the waves of any bumps and hills and valleys, and have more equanimity and balance throughout. Clarity comes in when you're grounded. Yep, so there's some, especially in the lower spine, some of you are getting some tailbone realignments. I've never spent so much time before grounding and anchoring. Whew. Okay, that feels complete and done. So now coming into the Deve Earth Magic Chamber. Deve Earth Magic Chamber, like I said a little bit earlier, is this interface between worlds. It's located in a real place. It's located in a cave in the base of Mount Kailash. Mount Kailash is the sacred place that many, many religions hold as sacred and ask to do pilgrimage to. And it's really hard to reach. It takes about 2 weeks to even get there. Of course, it's high altitude, and but it's this cave, not real in a real place, real time, but it also is an interface beyond the veil, the goddess realm. And this is a crystal cave that other people, other modalities have shared. They're already familiar with, but this is a special room in there that is filled with avataric expressions, filled with divine beings solely serving your evolution. And the different rooms, the different chambers, follow a guided protocol that knows how to shift and transform energy by the way they fit together and move and shift fluidly so that it is a safe, organic, productive clearing and releasing, and then bringing in new patterns. Beautiful. So see if you can get a sense of this crystalline cave. The floor of this cave has this, if you're looking at this on a video, it has this Sri yantra, and you can see this beautiful goddess form, and surrounding her is a series of pyramids or triangles. That's a Sri yantra. On the floor of this cave is the Sri yantra, or a chamber. So the first thing we're going to do is go into, your spines are still getting some more work here. That's why we're spending such an inordinate amount of time before entering. So a lot of you getting an upgrade update in your grounding cord / power line / um, uh, well, updated grounding cord. Consider it like a premium grounding cord. Some have called it a power line or a power cord, meaning you have more access to flow and fluidity, to both clear and connect. So we're going to plop in the healing pool. This healing pool is off to the left or the right, but it's just this liquid plasma. You can imagine that you're sitting in your favorite water experience. Maybe it's a hot tub with candles, or you're outdoors in the lake or next to a stream, or you've got your shoes off and waiting. There's like moss covered rocks, or you're in a tropical oasis, or my favorite, up in the mountains, sitting in a hot mineral spring surrounded by just this landscape of beauty. Wherever you are, this liquid plasma-like energy is here to regulate your system. And for some of you, it's going right to the heart. It's going to the back of the heart. It's going to the spine. So that extra time we took to create this more advanced power line, more advanced power cord, more advanced, I would just call it a grounding cord, is helping your spine strengthen a certain way, to receive more energy, to allow more flow. And so the regulation in this healing pool feels like it's going to your spine and also the back of the heart. Back of the heart tends to be past life or incarnational experiences that have hurt your heart in some way. We all have wounds. Can't pretend that haven't as a human being just to live this life, being born, sometimes coming out of the birth canal. It's a traumatic experience for babies. And you get slapped in the butt and hung upside down. Or, you cry and no one picks you up, and the rest of the scars that may or may not have happened in your many, many years that you've been here on the planet. Or what about the hurt of your intergenerational ancestors? Or what about the hurt or the pain of your past lives that then resonate with whatever's happening in this life? And also there's the collective. We live in a soup of energy. So the collective, of course, affects our personal. The personal affects the collective. So all those areas is where we're working today. Allow this regulating plasma to come in like you're free floating. Or for those of you who don't like water, you're in a boat and it's gently rocking. And it's regulating, or think of it like dissolving tension and tightness, or dissolving sugar cubes or salt cubes, contracted energy that no longer serves you. And for each of you is different. We have a nice group of people here today. And if you're joining, just imagine whatever's in the back of your heart being dissolved, like dropping a sugar cube in tea or salt block in a water trough. The water bubbles and slowly is dissolving. And it's also regulating. Regulating meaning what is out of balance, what is out of sorts, what is maybe living from a place of disconnect or dysregulation. There you go. So think of energies just bubbling up around you. Like when you're in a lake and you can see some of the things on the bottom of a lake that, are holding bubbles, and they just because it's decaying down there. You've got mud and you've got a lot of um, uh, dead plants or animal skeletons that have just settled to the bottom, and rocks. And dirt, of course. And so there's bubbles of oxygen or bubbles of that decay that just float up to the surface, and it hits the surface and it just hits the air and boom. It just becomes part of the air. Think of what's bubbling up from you now as those little bubbles of decay. You can think of it like rot, but it doesn't matter. It's just material that no longer serves you anymore. And that's dysregulation. Again, for each of you, it's different. When we work energetically, we tend to point at repressed or oppressed emotion, energy patterns that have not been seen or acknowledged or addressed. And we can all in our life pinpoint probably key moments in time that have really impacted us negatively. But we also tend to compartmentalize or disconnect from things that we resist facing. And then you add to that these patterns that I just talked about that are incarnational, your past lives, and these patterns from intergenerational that may be supporting that. And so there's a lot of unseen material. So when we meet these unseen patterns, we bring our awareness into them. They're like these little bubbles that then float up to the surface and just like bing, pop, and go back to the air. So this healing pool of regulation, I can feel everybody settling down now. There was, I wouldn't say chaos, but just think of it like static. Now the healing pool is really allowing your system to settle into a nice rhythm, nice comforting, anchored, rooted, and grounded. As if you're just planted in the earth, but yet your branches are just stretching up to the sun, and you're both sunlight and earth, both. Welcoming to the summer solstice, our guides. You each got a guide as soon as we came into the Devi magic chamber. You may ask who's working with you. You may already know. You may get a sense of it. Don't worry if you don't. But there's also a host of avataric expressions, the celestials, the earth elementals and winds and directions and kingdoms. Of course, the Divine Mother Collective, the Master Healer Collective, including Merlin. There's our galactic brothers and sisters of light and love. Those are the star lineages. We all come from stardust. You like being acknowledged now. It's like they're starting to form a little choir of energy around you. Welcome Christ consciousness. And specifically tonight in the summer solstice, welcome the solstice angels. Maybe that was the choir of angels that I heard singing. Supporting your new beginnings here today by removing what no longer serves you. Christ consciousness, Krishna, very evident here. Dragon fire, phoenix fire coming in with energy of the sun to burn out what no longer serves you and illuminate your radiant lights. They want you to know that they see you, they support you, they're always around. They love being acknowledged. You can almost feel that your system swells with their energy now. So moving from the healing pool into relaxation and centering room. This is a room whose sole purpose, of course, is to relax and center you, but it is a room filled with love, divine love, not the love of human conditioning that has conditions. I love you if, I'll love you when. This is divine love, unconditional, pure. It's the kind of love that makes your eyes water. It's going to all those places that you feel lost or unsafe or unprotected, and just dropping nuggets of pure love, or surrounding you with arms, support, compassion, soothing any fears, supporting, reinforcing any strengths. And the energy of peace is coming in as well. Peace is like equalizer, it's equanimity, it's like fearless, it's ability to adapt to any situation or circumstance. Peace coming in to really, again, augment that safety and protection. Nurtured, loved, hugged. Specifically finding any place that doesn't feel loved, doesn't feel safe, doesn't feel at peace. And bringing in little flashlights or little sparks and flames. We've got a lot of fire energy with us. And illuminating those dark places so that we can access them, bring in the light. It's kind of like opening up those closet doors that have remained hidden, the attics, the junk drawers, the basements where we've locked the skeletons, of course, even the skeletons that we don't know about. We're bringing in light. And as we bring in light, we open up the windows and we allow fresh air to come in. And as that fresh air comes in, it's our awareness, our intention, our focus that clears it all out. So allow this energy of love on this beautiful summer solstice evening to illuminate any of those dark places, and allow this peace energy to surround it, safety and protection, especially any of those vulnerable or even raw areas, because those are the ones ultimately that you shrink back from, especially the ones you don't even know are there, that arise in your quiet moments. And sometimes that's why we keep so busy, because we don't want to have those quiet moments, because we want to avoid or resist some of these things, or even some of those places that you aren't quite aware of in your ancestral line, way back. The energies on the planet right now are unprecedented. When we work with our guides, we can go back generations. We can go back lifetimes and clear deep, dark patterns. And we have a dark history in the earth. Our collective history is, well, I'm not even going to go there, but it's dark, and it's ugly, and it's cruel, and it's hurtful and hateful. Even just in our planet today, we've got this whole climate change thing that we're literally shortening the lifespan for our future kids, future generations, by simply just ignoring. We do that because we're disconnected, because we've forgotten. Collectively, we choose to, and I'm not pointing fingers at any of you specifically, but collectively we're choosing to allow this planet to self-destruct, which the planet will never allow, because she's alive and she wants to survive, like we all want to survive. But coming back to that connection is the only way we're all going to survive together. When we recognize how interconnected, how interdependent we all are on each other, there's no way we would allow the planet or each other to be hurt. And so coming back to that connection is the key. And so what disconnects us is these ancient fears. And we all have them, especially if you dig deep enough. Sometimes when I work with clients one-on-one, they'll say to me, look me right in the eye and go, oh, I cleared that pattern. And I'm like, well, you just cleared the tip of the iceberg. There are roots to that you haven't even got close to. And we have so much help here today. So here in the healing pool, allow that sacred light to not only bring in that embracing love that makes your eyes water because there's just so much joy, so much bliss, so much radiant magic of happiness, of appreciation, to illuminate those areas that don't feel that loved, that shrink back from that light, that are hidden in those back of the cabinet, junk drawers, basements, attics, of our intergenerational or even karmic history, or even in this life where we've just chosen to resist or forget or move on. I'm really good at that. Trauma is at epidemic levels. Repressed trauma. And so this love, this light, isn't in denial. It goes in with giant, beautiful arms of love and hugs those vulnerable, raw places. No expectation, no judgment, just love, pure compassion. So that love trickling into those places and spaces now. Kind of like a stream can trickle in through rocks and even wear down rocks. I mean, look at the Grand Canyon. We all know that was made by water. Water is a powerful force. Or sunlight coming in through lines of beautiful soft pinks and peaches and oranges and golden hues, shining into those dark areas. And anything that's wounded or shrinking back feels that soft glow now, feels that soothing water. There's a pool in the relaxation and centering room. So if you feel that this liquid energy is very soothing to you, feel free to feel yourself just be surrounded by this liquid light of love, liquid vibration of peace. Yep, especially going to the back of the heart. You can already kind of feel a theme coming on. It feels like a place where you all shrink back from something. Whether for most people, it's probably just a fear of ... fill in the blank. Others, it could be your light. Perhaps you're afraid to shine. This pattern has come up in the past, especially for women, because we feel that we're here to serve and we don't want to stand out. If we stand out, we feel like it separates us from others, or maybe we don't feel worthy. Whatever the reason, we shrink back. So that's what it feels like we're working on, but we'll see. I'm not in charge. I'm just here as a facilitator. I'm here to listen. Yeah, so it's a place where you shrink back from fully engaging in life. That intimacy, that enthusiasm, that dance like no one's watching thing. So the energy of love and peace, seeking out those places that shrink back and gently surrounding them with love and support and reinforcement and encouragement and inspiration and just hugs. You know, typically why we shrink back is because there's something wounded, there's something hurt, there's something that caused that reaction. And so this energy is finding those spaces and places. Yep, it feels like it's going to each of the kidneys. So obviously it is some sort of fear. And just bring in that love, bring in that nurturing, that compassion, that no matter what happens, you're not only safe and protected, but you're fully supported here. There is nothing we can't do together. There is nothing that's too scary. There is nothing that's too daunting. There is nothing that's too overwhelming. There is nothing that is too shameful, too guilt-ridden. Everything just is. That's the nature of peace. Its beautiful ability to be all accepting, all allowing, and adapting to flow through awareness. Just a couple more minutes here. Really taking the time, again, to feel that safety, that connection, that love, that nurturing, that compassion. Slow soaking into those spaces and places. Feels a little blissful. But whatever you're experiencing is exactly what it should be. Your only goal here, your only purpose is to open and receive. Open and receive. So much compassion going to any place of unclarity. What is it that you don't understand? What is it that you're trying to see? What is it that is still maybe just out of sight or making you feel stuck or lost? There we go. Beautiful. Now coming out of the relaxation centering, we're going into energizing. Energizing is bringing fuel to those places and spaces that may feel depleted or weak, but it's also preparing your system where we're working. So it's going to those places of feeling maybe woundedness or shrinking back, and really giving them a little bit more juice so that we can have the energy to move and shift and transform and even alchemize them. So again, just open up and receive and allow the energy to work for you and with you. Guides are in each of these rooms are really pulling together your personal guide. Your concierge is like an usher in a movie theater, just guiding you from room to room, making sure each of you get exactly what you need. And here in the energizing, it's again going to the back of the heart. It feels like there's some stuck energy there, like sticky molasses, or even more hardened brick-like energy or brittle energy. Back of the heart is past life experience, past pain, could be yours from this lifetime, could be yours from um, incarnational karmic history, could be ancestral, that carry the same vibrational signature relating to whatever it is that past life wound is, that wound that really made you feel like you wanted to shrink back from more fully engaging in life. And we each have them. We each have a spot that we wish that we could be more blah, maybe more intimate with our partner, maybe more intimate with the God or divine, maybe more intimate with ourself as divine. Something as broad as that to maybe really specific. Can I do better at my job? Can I do better in serving others? We all have these weak places where we feel that we're not doing our best. And even the idea that we're not doing our best can be a block. Because flow just is. Flow just says, I am present, I show up for whatever arises, and I am fully engaged. So even thinking that you're not enough can be a block. And so whatever is arising for you, you may want to take notes, may want to meditate later on it, or don't worry. Just allow it to, again, remember, allow it to rise like weather and pass through. It may try to get your attention, to pull you into some story or feeling. And your job is to just witness. Just meet it with curiosity. Like you're watching a movie or you're listening to a friend who's trying to tell you something. Whatever is happening, just allow it to be. Just allow it to be. It's going to the emotional body now, and any kind of shame or guilt, and helping to, like it feels like it's clearing, rinsing it out, like mouthwash. We just woke up and, you kind of got that film that's coating your teeth and maybe on your tongue and near the back of your tonsils, and you just take that mouthwash and it just like has that liquid kind of alcohol or burning in there, that mint, and it just like whew, makes you feel fresh. So this cleansing is going to places that maybe you feel weren't as fresh within you, in your emotional body. Feels like regret, maybe. And any mental body patterns as well. Definitely the kidneys getting some focus, bringing up the energies there. spine, but it's mainly focused, and I've seen this in all three of the different phases we've been in so far, the back of the heart. Like, what shadows in the back of the heart that doesn't want to be addressed? And typically when it's in the back of the heart, of course, it's something you haven't seen. You know, it's behind you. Could be in this life. Regret came in. Could be, again, incarnational, definitely. Could have a genetic or ancestral and intergenerational vibrational resonance. But whatever it is, it's coming into your awareness now to be cleansed. Yep. So now it's now just with talking about it and focusing, it's moving to the front of the heart and up into the top of your chest and into your throat. Yep. So it's something like ancient screams, like I couldn't, I can't, you know, and ancient screams of overwhelm. When you think of the collective and you look around the world today and you see all the women that have been repressed, and those of you in the spiritual community, we've talked about for decades the rise of the divine feminine, because the rise of the divine feminine, the approach is interconnectivity, it's creativity, it's rebirth. It's coming back into form. But women have been notoriously repressed, oppressed, abused, tortured, raped, murdered. And so it feels like burned at the stake, if you were thought to be divine. It feels like ancient screams of disconnect. And there's a big group here, so there's a lot of different stories. I'm working dimensionally. So even if I was working with you one-on-one, it could be 5 stories, could be 10, could be 50, could be 500, 5,000 different stories. We've had millions of past lives, people. Millions. On this planet, thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands. But you are a spirit being, encased in a human body, having a human experience that is deeply connected to the karmic history of this planet, that is bubbling up in the back of your heart and just wants to be heard, seen, and now it's in the back of your neck, coming up into the front of your spiritual heart, and just wants to scream into the night, scream into the light. And so summer solstice is light overcoming dark. And so whatever is dark in your history in the back of your heart, you don't have to name it. You don't even have to know it. Just allow it to bubble up. And by dark, I'm not, there's no judgment, there's no labeling, there's no expectation, there's no context here. Dark is just an absence of light. It's something that is not love-based. It's a fear-based. And so there's so many names for that. I'm not even going to give it any kind of power by putting names to it. Darkness just could be woundedness, just could be cruelty, just could be manipulation, could be worse. Could be murder, could be any kind of disconnect, could be mental illness. Anything that's hidden way back in the past. Could be in your ancestral, intergenerational line. I did a family constellation a few weeks ago where we found mental illness in great-great-grandmothers. And I went to them and I apologized and I held their hands and I said, I'm here for you. Come into the light. I see you. Let's work together. Let's pull this energy out of our systems. And it just made me cry because they had been sitting lost for a long time. There's no stigma in mental illness. It's just an absence of light. Everything in this human reality is man-made. It's created. It's not real. That stigma, that shame, that misidentification, man-made. None of it's real. Mental illness is just a break from reality that says, I can't cope because of ... which is, again, human karmic history, very dark, very cruel, very mean. Heck, look around the world. We all want to go a little bit insane with some of the stuff going on, and we could if we truly focused on it, but we're not because we're balanced, we're regulated. But we've also learned to cope and adapt through coping mechanisms that may not be healthy. And those coping mechanisms can disconnect, disassociate. And so this is part of your past, ancient past in the back of your heart. It's between your shoulder blades. It just wants to be seen, acknowledged, heard, and just maybe allow it. Like we were in the healing pool to float up, bubble up. As simple as those air bubbles coming up from decay. It's simple, just like that. We don't have to give it any more power by talking about the stories and histories and her stories and memories. It's just a bubble of energy that was locked in the past, no longer serves. So bringing the light into the dark is enough. Bringing that light in those places that feel like they haven't been seen, and allowing that light to transform, alchemize, and bring it back to the air like bubbles coming up from the decay in the bottom of a lake or a pond. And as they hit the air, just joins back. With the all, kind of like us. So allow whatever is bubbling up for you in this energetic phase to bubble up. Feeling safe, supported, loved, protected, nurtured, with so much compassion. Held in the bosom of love, of divinity, your higher power, and source intelligence. Putting in structures now for whatever it is that you're shrinking back from. Bringing in something called GPS structures. GPS structures are kind of a hybrid structure that are like little Pac-Man. They're searching out that shrinking back from being fully engaged with life in some capacity. GPS seeks out that pattern, slowly dissolve it, latches on so we can see it, identify it, and helps to slowly dissolve it. Beautiful. So now coming out of the energizing and moving into the letting go room. This room filled with so much light and fire. In fact, that's what we're going to do first. There is a side chamber called Fire Room. We're going to walk in there for just a minute or two, and there's Pele fire, Phoenix fire, Dragon fire, Divine fire. It's not, it's a cleansing fire, like a fire coming in through a forest is all about burning out the underbrush so that new life can grow. It's not destructive at all. It's just a part of the natural symbiotic relationship of nature. And so this fire is like, again, fire ceremony. This is a summer solstice fire ceremony. Here you're welcome to quietly say your intentions and drop it in this fire. But this fire is also going to any dampness in your organs, any dampness or weakness in your body that needs the fire of energy, of light, perhaps any infections that you may have, subclinical, or any infections that are current. But it's also going into those wounds. There's a special kind of fire in here called Sophia's Gold, Althea's Gold, which is goddess energy fire that has this liquid salve mixed in it. This honey-like salve that goes into those wounds, and as fire cleanses and cauterizes all that scar tissue, this goddess gold energy brings in a liquid salve to instantly bring it back to health and wellness. So this fire chamber is a summer solstice gift to burn out what no longer serves you in whatever capacity. Of course, there's sunlight here. So feel free to talk to the fire. Throw in all those worries. We all have them. I'm not good enough. I'm not loved. This is in my way. This is challenging me. So and so did or said this. I can't do that. Throw in just all those doubts and fears and worries, and allow yourself to give them away. Let them go. No expectation. And they're instantly zapped and turned into smoke, and that smoke is floated up into the atmosphere where Kali takes it and is using that smoke as fertilizer. Whatever we're letting go in the Devi Earth Magic Chamber is automatically used as fertilizer. Fertilizer for your growth, fertilizer for growth. Nothing is wasted, ever. Energy doesn't go anywhere. It just gets transformed. It gets alchemized. It comes back to balance. And so whatever we release and we don't need, it just goes into this fertilizer capacity. So just intend to put your worries into this fire. And just feel it burn away and let it go. Let go of any expectation of when and how and what and why. This is potent fire on summer solstice. This is our own personal fire ceremony. It's never happened before in any kind of healing, but we showed up and they asked. So feel free to just say your intentions to yourself. Don't hold back. Put your deepest worries in there, deepest concerns. I would tend to stick to yourself, because as you clear yours and you get really specific, it affects the whole. Your lineage is interwoven like a fabric into the whole. And trust me, you can go way back. There's enough material there. It's wonderful to care and serve others, but you can only care and serve others when you have a full tank. Beautiful. Wow. Thank you, Source. What an amazing gift. This fire room had its own personal little fire pit ceremony there. Bowing my head in gratitude. What a gift. What a true gift. I don't know about you, but a whole bunch of stuff just whole bunch of weight just lifted by the simple intention of saying what I want to release and just watching it burn in the flames and the smoke rise and know that it is gone, that we are being served here by higher power that is answering our prayers with immediacy, the present moment immediacy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Just taking one other minute in case there's anything else that comes up for you. And again, make it personal. Go deep. What is it that you really want to get rid of? Put that prayer into the fire. Beautiful. And know that it is done with gratitude and love. Whew, what an amazing solstice gift. So coming back to the letting go chamber, coming out of the fire pit again with so much gratitude. Wow, it feels like just so much weight lifted off. But we're still going to focus on that specific signature pattern of shrinking back from engaging in some aspect of your life that you're afraid of or that has hurt you or wounded you in some capacity. And the first thing we're going to clear is that unconscious timeline, that connection between your karmic history and your incarnational history that holds the same pattern along with collective history. You're going to hear me breathing for a little bit. Think of it like knots in a yarn, in skeins of yarn that have been sitting in a basket for a while and they're just knotted together and we're just clearing them out. Okay, let that ripple on through. And now we're going to go into what's called the collective conscious conditioning. These are areas you're probably more familiar with. The identities, how you identify with shrinking back. You know, sometimes you'll face something in your life, for example, that is maybe a little bit too overwhelming. You're like, oh, you know, I really can't, like public speaking, I really can't do that. And you just shrink back and say, you know, I'm too scared to do that. Just giving that as one example, where maybe if you just went up there and did it, you'd find you'd really shine. And so we all have these fears where we shrink back from something, to something small, to something really gigantic and huge. And so we're going to clear collective conscious conditioning, framework and supports, karma nuts, karma structures, any kind of reality streams, any personality pieces, any expressions in your genetics or energy bodies, chakras, new life field. Any network patterns. Okay, let that ripple on through. Now go into anything else. It's going to the back of the heart now. It's going to your heart center. It's going into that place that just again shrinks back. Sometimes shrinking back is an unconscious reaction. We just ignore something, pretend it's not there, like the whole collective consciousness is doing with climate change or with things that are just ginormous that are in front of our face and they're just not acting. That's a trauma response. A trauma is absent, is a disconnect because of patterns that are impacting you. Ooh, yep. It's going, there's some going to the back right kidney. And into the spleen and pancreas. That was a nice big shift. Back of the hearts feel much lighter, like some weight lifted off your shoulder blades. They may not even know that you were carrying. So now coming out of letting go, we're going to go into the integration room. Integration room filled with energies to help bring you back to place, because if you can think of that you're interconnected to everyone and everything, when we come in and we move and we shift and we reshape and we maybe reform or take out this piece and replace it with that, we have to tell everything else what we did. So we're catching up, integrating, physicalizing this in all realities, all dimensions, all fields, all realms, all space and time. So there's nothing to do in the integration chamber but open up and receive and allow the energies, allow the divine beings, allow the source, higher regulating principles to come in and put your own puzzle pieces back together. There's a pool here in integration room. So if you like that liquid energy, just allow yourself to slip into this pool and just feel the fluidity. A lot of relief feeling in the integration room, like tension in your body. It's relaxing, like weight is lifted. I'm just in awe of that fire room gift that came in for the solstice, where we had our own personal fire ceremony. That whatever we thought, whatever intention we threw in there, and it'll work on replay. So make sure you get a recording. Now that you know it's there, you can write everything down and just go into that fire room and just poof, watch it go up in smoke. Feel a lot of weight, a lot of relief, a lot of lightness of being returning. You didn't even know you were carrying that much. And here in the integration room, again, just open to receive. As your guides are working with you to, again, really integrate through the energies we shifted, moved, transformed, alchemized. Catch up things that aren't quite aware that we shifted, physicalized it. And you think of our blind spots and shadow sides. These are just places that have been out of form, disconnected. And when we're in form, informed, we bring them into the light. We allow our awareness into these places and spaces. That information informs our new choices, new reframing, new awareness to make different choices or to see it in a new light. Perfect topic for the summer solstice. Longest day of the year. New beginnings. Bringing balance. Bringing back love. Bringing back peace. Bringing back connection. Bring in something called Deve therapy, which is really just like a dimensional therapist to bring your awareness to anything that may be relevant. What we shifted here today. And it may be something that comes into mind immediately, maybe something that trickles in your dreams, maybe something that shows up in a couple of days, couple of weeks, couple of months. Allow this therapeutic energy to work with whatever we shifted and transformed for your highest and best good. Working into the genetic layers as well. Systems feel so much more at peace, so much lighter. That heaviness in the back of the heart, not entirely gone, is only like a shadow of its former self. Sometimes things take a little bit of time to shift. Sometimes all we really need to do is get the ball rolling. Coming out of integration and entering this room called reorientation, that is like this donut around the center. In the center is the truth tower. To me, the truth tower is this pillar of light, but around it is this donut room where it serves as a reorientation, where we're going to bring in new blueprints that do serve you. So here in the reorientation, we're going to bridge you into a place, because all realities exist as a dimensional beings. If you come out your door and you take a left, all these different choices and possibilities will exist. You're going to pass a certain neighbor's house. You may pass a hardware store. You may pass a auto parts store. You go to the right, and all these other possibilities then open up. That if you made that choice, but before you even take a step left or right, all possibilities exist. So we're going to bring in the possibility where you already exist, where you've transformed this issue that says, I shrink back from life because of ... You've transformed it. I shrink back from fully engaging in this aspect or every aspect of life, to be fully present, to be standing firmly embodied in my divine awakeness. We're going to transform every issue that's attached to that. You've gained all the wisdom. To me, it feels like radiance, like radiant glow, like you're just glowing. Because when you're embodied and your divinity is just a living expression of you. So allow this radiant glow to permeate every aspect of yourself. We'll call it radiant presence. You're just present in your presence. It's just radiating out of you. It's a vibrational, experiential of your aliveness. Create new upper dimensional blueprints for that. That's really just bringing in, like, you need new blueprints. You want to build something new. You need to know how the things are going to fit together, how they're going to coordinate, how they're going to be structured. Bringing in new upper dimensional blueprints for this, holding the pattern of this radiant presence, this aliveness. It's bursting forth within you. And this is a template, this is a blueprint that now is stronger within you. Here in the reorientation room, we're also going to awaken that expression of shrinking back from life, shrinking back from fully engaging in life. That's in your personality. And now we're going to bridge this optimal personality piece that feels again like it's just radiating your presence, radiating this aliveness with confidence, fearlessness. I mean, presence just is. It's really even hard to describe it because it's experiential. It's almost beyond definition. Now we're going to create a new genetic personality piece. Because a lot of this we inherited from our intergenerational, which, also I'm sure had very legitimate reasons to shrink back from life, transfer over any relevant histories and stories that we still need, any functionality to address this and help further along our wisdoms and experiences, so we can um, learn to reframe it through those experiences, through those memories, through those functions. And now we're going to disconnect this pattern. There we go. There's always kind of a resistance because it's like a consciousness that feels like it's part of you until it's not. And now we're just going to bridge this into the ancestral consciousness. And allow that to then seep out and radiate through to the rest of your consciousness. This radiant aliveness, this presence that is very present with its own beingness. Very rooted, grounded, anchored in it. And shrinking back is a resistance. So we're just taking an extra moment here to bridge this on through. Radiating presence, rooted, grounded, anchored in it, alive with aliveness, fully engaging with life, fearless, allowing, adapting. And wake up any identities that are attached or related to this. Yep, and so there's like a little fear pattern that says, if I am that alive, what about dot dot dot? And it's that old voice in the back of your head that still feels a little wounded, hurt, unsure, doubtful. It's okay. And now coming out of reorientation, we're going to step fully into the Truth Tower, which to me is a multidimensional portal. It looks like a pillar of light. To me, it's the tree of truth, the tree of life in the very center of this Devi Earth magic chamber, which again has that Sri yantra in the middle and this pillar of light that bisects unseen world with our own human existence. Deep in the center of the earth, deep in the center of the galaxy, our feet are firmly planted in our primordial self, our crown and skull in our meta reality, our highest reality in our spine merged with this light, which you can also think of as like a transporter room, a beam of light that manifests or re-manifests. It's most needed. In this multidimensional portal, light and love, bringing in this pattern of this alive presence, this radiating presence that is present with all of life, engaged, glowing, fearless, and flowing. Comes in like a mist or snowfall or white flowers, flowing into every cell, every atom, every quark, filling up this tube of light like liquid, coming into your feet and going into all your cellular, molecular, into every muscle and tissue, into the oxygen in your blood flow, into the bone marrow, to bring in this pattern. Radiating presence, fully alive and engaged, from your feet to your shins to your knees, your thighs, filling up your root chakra, your pelvic region, into your sacral chakra, through all your organs, into your solar plexus, and up your rib cage into your heart, flowing specifically into the back of the heart and any pressure still in your shoulder blades, flowing up into your upper chest and your spiritual heart, and into your neck, and throat chakra, to your crown and brow chakra and third eye, and flowing up through the top into your upper chakras and cascading all around you in this toroidal field that is interconnected and interfaced with the Earth's toroidal field. So you're one and the same. And this pattern of flowing with the presence of life, transforming all your chakras, moving into your energy bodies, transforming your pathways, into your genetics. And we're going to amplify it with the energy of love. The energy of love, strengthening that pattern. On this night of summer solstice, bringing in the light of the sun, amplify and strengthen this place in you that is engaged and fully alive, shining brightly. It is restoring, renewing, reclaiming your right to be divine, bright, anchored fully and embodied here on the earth plane. It's love washing away any resistance, anything that arises that says, well, I'm just washing it away like water, washing it away like a wind, a breeze coming through. burning it away like ashes and smoke rising. And then the energy of peace coming in to do the same thing. Peace bringing that equanimity to reinforce and amplify His presence that is alive and radiant and very present with itself. Present with a C, present with a T. It's peace energy coming in like white flowers floating in, around, and through you. And because we're interconnected with this toroidal field of our own that starts in our heart center and it expands out from our heart in radiating waves, we're going to allow this energy of presence, radiating presence, fueled by grace, to flow in through all our web lines and vital web lines to our loved ones, our homes, our pets, our plants, our workplaces, our co-workers, of course, our family. It's flowing this radiating light, presence, with the intention to drop seeds of connection. It's flowing out to all creation. Fueled by grace, it's being absorbed by the soil beneath your feet, microbes embedded within it, up into the atmosphere as sunlight, as wind, falling down as rain, as snowflakes, or even again, these beautiful crystalline flowers of life, interpenetrating all creation, falling on the mountaintops into the rivers, lakes, and streams, growing up as plants into the trees, into the insects, birds, animals, marine life, and all human hearts, beating with the vibration of this aliveness, connecting through this engaged presence that says, I am present with it all. I am in the here and now. I am embodying it and connected and interconnected and interdependent of everyone and everything. These summer solstice angels coming in to amplify that like a choir. And in their voices, the resonance just breaks apart like seeds and plants these seeds of connection wherever they're needed, especially in anyone that feels that they need to shrink back from life in some capacity. We're getting so much help here now to drop these seeds into the collective. Thank you for joining together tonight to help this. Dropping these seeds of connection, seeds of presence, seeds of being present and alive and connected and engaged. And by engagement, it's much greater than understanding that you're divine. This divinity interpenetrates everything. And so coming back to that place within your own heart that is aware of this interconnection, filled with so much peace, so much love, and blessing it all. Getting a special gift of grace from the summer solstice angels and Angel Jophiel, who is the angel of illumination, dropping a big seed. Well, it looks like actually a crystal. Wow, it looks like, wow, it's so bright, into that heart center, into that space that's still in your heart, that's slightly broken, slightly shadowed, that is still a little unsure. And we all have those places and spaces. And this, it's like this shining light. It's so bright I can't even look at it. For some, it may be the sword of Excalibur, I don't know where that's coming from, or the Sword of Truth, or the Lady of Light, Lady of the Lake, and this, oh, that's it, the story of the Lady of the Lake and the sword in the river. But it's this beautiful shining light in that place in the back of your heart that is still working on this issue. And the angel Jophiel, along with the angels of the solstice, promise that they'll be with you every step of the way, whether it's tonight while you're sleeping or days later when any experience comes up to challenge this issue within you. Weeks, months, years. It's because of you showing up here tonight and joining in this beautiful night of summer solstice energies to bring connection back to the planet, to bring connection back to that part of you that was shrinking back and you may not even know it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So coming to a conclusion, this beautiful night of connection, singing a Sanskrit mantra, which literally means moving from untruth to truth, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. Let there be peace, peace, peace. Allow the vibrations of this Sanskrit mantra to just bubble up within you. Asatoma Sakamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mritorma Amtramgamaya Om Shanti 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 Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Om Shanti 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 Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Peace, peace, peace. May peace continue to bubble up as this presence of aliveness that's present with itself and radiating out as a vibration to all others. Thank you again, bringing gratitude for you taking this time on this Father's Day, on this summer solstice, this night of celebration to spend this here together, working on yourself, and of course, working on this collective pattern and sending it out to the planet, feeling it rebound within ourselves. Thank you. And of course, all the divine guides helping us here today. So many, too many to name. Your specific guides, the Divine Mother, Master Healers, and of course, our celestial summer solstice angels, and the angel Jophiel, the angel of illumination. Thank you. Bowing my head to you all. It is done. It is complete, and so it is. Bringing you up and out of the Devi Earth Magic Chamber. Feel free to take a couple of deep breaths to bring you back to the here and now. Or if you feel that you want to continue this energy, follow your guidance. You may wish to disconnect and stay in this space of flowing energies for the next 10-15 minutes or longer if you're called. It's late on the East Coast for some of you. So do what feels best for you. But again, thank you so much for joining us here tonight.